Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, our weekly gathering of coaches that help one presenter with a 3-minute pitch. Our coaches are Nathan Gold, specializing in high-stakes presentations, and his track record is astonishing. We have Michael Marchak, CTO, author, speaker, and all-around great guy. We have Scotty Spursum, also from San Francisco, a language coach with a tremendous background in the startup world. And we have Marco Vetzale. He dropped off my list here. We have Marco Vetzale from Thailand, serial entrepreneur. He's also doubling as our counter. And then we have our first presenter of the year, Dan Schwartz. Dan Schwartz is going to give a pitch about Plantations International. Dan, welcome to Pitch in the Zone.
Thank you, Claudio, and everybody. Do I need to give a background first?
No, not at all, but if you can let us know, Dan, what is your target audience and what is the setting that you're usually going to give this pitch?
Okay. Target audience is people who A, have money, and B, not big money, because the smallest amount's $8,000 US, but people who want to look at investing in something different than traditional investments and have either children or grandchildren that they want to provide for. Because just a little background.
No background, please. No background.
No background. Okay, that's it.
And what is the regular setting for this kind of pitch? Is it online? Is it offline? Is it one-on-one? Is it
the typical setting for the pitch would be one-on-one.
All right, so that gives our coaches a lot to go by with. Let's put on these hats. Dan, whenever you are ready, are you going to share your screen as well? Yep.
Yeah, I need to share the screen.
Okay.
Let's get to...
And whenever you're ready, simply begin and Marco will start the timer. At that point, we are shooting for 3 minutes.
Everybody see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm ready when you are.
Go ahead.
Okay. Everybody, when we all grew up, what did our parents tell us? Well, at least my mother used to tell me, money does not grow on trees. However, I am here tonight, or today, depending upon what time of the day it is where you are, to tell you that money grows on trees. It really does. Now, it's not just me telling you. Time Magazine wrote an article about banking on trees and how you can invest in forestry. How investing in the forest can save the planet and generate outstanding returns. So you can make a lot of money in forestry. I bet you a lot of people don't know that. Everybody is talking about investing in forestry now. They offer outstanding returns. Let's take a quick look at what's been happening in returns over the last 30 years, comparing forestry to other asset classes. Gold has returned between almost 6% over the last 30 years. US bonds, approximately 6%. Oil, a little bit less than 8%. The S&P 500 annual returns in the 11% range. And forestry has averaged over 12% in annual returns over the last 30 years. Let's talk about what kind of forestry. Plantations International is in a lot of different ones, but in Thailand, they're in Agarwood, which is considered the diamond of woods. High-end Agarwood is sold for as much as $10,000 a gram. It's actually the most expensive wood in the world. You look at Agarwood chips, you can see what they look like here. They typically sell for $7,500 a kilogram. And Agarwood is the base for oud oil, which can sell on average for $50,000 a kilogram, but obviously higher quality sells for significantly more money. The agarwood is the raw ingredient that goes into oud oil, which, as I said, sells for more than 50,000 a kilogram. Well, let's talk about oud oil. It is ounce for ounce more expensive than gold. Now, from a market perspective, the global agarwood and oud oil sales are currently greater than $12 billion a year, and in the next 10 years are going to grow to $36 billion. And only 20% of the world's demand is met, which increases prices more than 16% per year. So if you're looking for investments, one of the places you want to be is in a growing market where demand is not met. Talk a little bit about Plantations International. The head office is in Hong Kong, and they have offices and operations and plantations in Thailand and Indonesia and Malaysia. And in Singapore, they have a branch office in corporate sales. I'm currently based in Thailand, where there's a branch office, corporate sales, a members lounge, which looks like a business class or first class lounge, and an agarwood plantation. So anybody who would ever purchase their trees can actually go visit them if you live in Thailand, or the company will actually fly you in to visit your trees once a year. Let's talk a little bit about some of the highlights of owning a plantation. Some of the key points: 20% per year average net returns. Proven and experienced management team. You can see there's operations in multiple countries. And from the standpoint of one of us who might be interested in participating, it's fully managed, hands-free. You buy your trees, Plantations International takes care of the rest. What does all of this mean? The worldwide fragrance market is $33 billion. Oud oil is a component of all of these high-end fragrances. So it's a guaranteed and safe investment. As I said, we can only meet 20% of the world demand, so 80% unmet demand, which means there won't be a problem selling the output of these plantations. Prices going up every year. Guaranteed exit markets. Plantations International has contracts, offtake contracts, to get the trees and the oud oil into places where they are needed. And the company 100% guarantees the returns. So what should you do next? One, to learn more, go to www.agritrees.com and watch the video. You'll get way more information than I can give you here. Secondly, get the prospectus where it goes through the whole market, how this all works. And number three, if you live here, make an appointment and come visit the plantation. And after people have purchased, they can get an annual trip paid for by the company. So you can find out how you can branch out with your investment portfolio. And yes, money does grow on trees. Check out www.agritrees.com and Plantations International, from soil to oil to.
All right. Dan, you have gone way over time, and out of respect for you, and please stop sharing your screen. Out of respect for you, I didn't stop you after about 4 minutes, but you came in at almost 6 minutes. So for a 3-minute pitch, of course, that's way too long. Okay. And I think a lot of the information that you have provided is not really needed to get me to go and visit the website and look at the video. Now, this has been the third time that Marco and I have seen this presentation. So we are gonna lean back a little bit, and I wanna open the floor today with Michael. Michael has put a lot of comments into the chat box as well while you were talking, Dan. So Michael, please take it from here.
So the first thing that struck me as you were presenting was this reminded me of some late night infomercials. Get it now because we can make billions in toothpicks. It's a wonderful thing, blah, blah, blah. And you started going on about how you can make this much money and the returns, and they're so great. You hammered that home and I got the information and where you see these returns coming from. But I have no idea who you are. I have no idea what your authority is, what the market is that you're actually going after. I have no idea what oud oil is. If you're asking me as an investor to drop money in this, what do you use it for? Is it like kerosene? I mean, whatever. You start talking about the expensiveness of all this wood and whatnot, and you show these pictures of little chips for $7,500. All it looked like to me was mulch. So I look at this stuff as the stuff I put around my trees, and I know it's not that. I know you extract it from there, but the fact is that the money growing on trees is a great tag, and I like the way you used it, but I didn't see the connection right away. In fact, you took a long time to get to the connection that this is used for perfumes or other things, and it's extracted out of the wood, and that's what makes it valuable. I had no idea until you got way into the end of the pitch. The other part of it too is you made a very short, offhand remark, blah, 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 and the company guarantees that 100 guarantees returns 100%. And moving on, da, 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 da. Like, wait, if you guarantee the returns 100%, wouldn't I, as an investor, want to know that? Like the first thing, dude, you're going to make a guarantee. I will personally guarantee, or the company guarantees your results in writing, blah, 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 for these things here for 12%. I mean, as an investor, I want to be de-risking my portfolio, but you made an offhanded remark. Go back and listen to yourself when you get the recording of this and see how quickly you blew by it. If that truly is something you're doing, hang your hat on that one, because that's a big thing. Nobody guarantees returns like that. So I'm sure there's other people who have some discussions they want to go to talk through, but there's a lot of things that you kind of blew through, and it was too infomercially for me. As an investor looking at it, I looked at it with some skepticism, even if it's all real, and I wouldn't know, because right now it felt a little contrived. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Perfect.
I did like your energy. Your slides were great, though.
Feedback. Yes, thank you very much, Michael. Great feedback. I think you hit a lot of points right on the nose. Nathan, can I turn the floor over to you, please?
Absolutely. Thank you. Dan, I like what you're doing, and I want to piggyback on what Michael said. It felt like a timeshare presentation to me. I felt at the end like, where do I spin the wheel? So if you dial back some of that bold, brash, in-your-face kind of enthusiasm and make it more authentic in terms of being a little bit more of a teddy bear approach. I mean, these are trees. People love trees. We hug trees, but you're coming at me like and so let's leave that one off. I think you've heard enough about that. In terms of your opening, I do very much love the money grows on trees, but then it took you 3 minutes and 43 seconds to help me understand what that meant, which is at that point you said you can own your own plantation. Finally, I get what he does. He grows these special trees on a plantation. They're managed. People take care of it. And if I want, they'll fly me in so I can visit and hug my trees. So I would go back to the money grows on trees start, because it's a great metaphor. We're all very familiar with it. And then I would immediately go to something such as, but not just any trees, very special trees. And they're called Agarwood trees. I'd never heard that term before. I don't know how many people on this line has ever heard that word before. So this is your opportunity to do what I like to refer to as a soft teaching moment. Because from now on, every time I see Agarwood, I'll know that it is more expensive to buy the oil that comes from that wood than an ounce of gold. So I'd go back there and add more pausing, put in credibility of who you are, and you're rocking and rolling.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Nathan. As always, fabulous feedback. Scotty, what have you noticed? What kind of feedback do you have for Dan?
Sure. It was really interesting, and like Nathan and Michael, I hadn't heard of this wood or the uses. So, you do need to bring in more information about what it is that you're working with. The thing that got me in the beginning was I felt like you were yelling at me. And it didn't matter what the content was. My body was like, ugh, I don't want to be near this man who's yelling at me. I mean, you sound nice and you look nice, but you are really using your voice like this. And and it's like, ugh. So for me, that was an instant, physical reaction. The other thing is, I don't know if you could compare what you're doing to something that might be more familiar to different audiences, such as maybe buying wines in vines in a winery, or some other program that's a little bit more familiar, so I could get that. Oh, I can be part owner in this resource. Another thing that popped into my head, only because it's something I'm very interested in, is the sustainability around this oil. There's a lot going on around palm oil. So my gut reaction is, okay, well, so how do you line up with the UN sustainability markers? If you do, you need to wave those out there, because that for social responsibility investing is key. And if they're, 12% return is amazing, but it raises a million red flags. It sounds too good to be true. So you need to prove it, right? If this is actually what it is, keep it humble, but keep it true. And then that will make it even more enticing for people to want to put their money in. So great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, the slides were really interesting, and I never knew about this content. So thanks.
Oh,
Yes. And that's another.
FYI, it's not my company. I know the owner, just so everybody knows, I know the owner personally. My company has a contract, so I can refer people. Hey, Nathan, you wrote a note. It's not legal to guarantee return on investment. The company will contractually guarantee the payments to you.
All right, let's get back to the pitch in itself, to the techniques, to the delivery, things like that. Rick, you have joined us
Yes.
last time already. I was very, very impressed with your feedback then as well. So please take it from here and help them improve this current version.
Okay, and Dan, the question I have at the beginning, you said this is going to be a one-on-one setting, and I'm looking at most of the slides, and it looks like something you'd show in a big conference room or auditorium. And the call to action is watch the video. How long is a video? Could you have the people watch the video first and then sit down one-on-one with them later? So I see you're muted, Dan, but I don't know if you want to go ahead.
I can answer your question. I mean, what the purpose of this is to get somebody to actually go to the website, watch the company provided video, and download the prospectus, which has, I mean, the market analysis and all that stuff's like 40 pages that answers all the questions like Scotty asked, what the heck's an Agarwood tree, and why do I care? And CITES, which is an organization, that manages responsible agriculture, all that kind of stuff. So at the end, what you do is actually go visit the plantation if you could, or you talk to somebody who works for the company who then will help you figure out, do you want to buy 25, 50, or 100 trees?
All right.
Just so you get the context.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. That answers the question, but I didn't know if this was like a 5-minute video or a 30-minute video on the website, because it sounds like for a one-on-one way. Go ahead, Dan.
5 minutes, maybe, that video.
5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to meet with someone one-on-one. I don't know if you've tried asking people to watch the video on the website first before you meet with them. That's one comment. The other is just on the slides, that they were fairly cluttered. You had one bullet slide that had like 7 bullet slides, and 3 were highlighted and the others were grayed out. And, to me, that looks more of like you're not really decluttering the presentation ahead of time. It's more, if you're meeting with someone one-on-one, it would be more something tailored more towards them.
Okay.
So, but I agree with what the other coaches have said. And I think just if it's a 5-minute video and your call to action is actually going through a 6-minute presentation to get someone to watch a 5-minute video, I'd be curious if you did it in reverse. If someone watched the video and said, yeah, I'm really interested, come in and talk to me.
Yeah. Great. Super feedback as well. Thank you, Rick. And let me move on. Hi, you might actually be one of the people in this room that's familiar with this wood. I'm not sure, but what kind of feedback do you have for them?
Actually, I'm from Vietnam, but I don't know that wood either. It's my first time hearing it. But I love the tagline, grow on tree. I also something about flying people in then what happened? Like people that are so remote that is there something that maybe that you send out a report annually or quarterly, and on top of that you can fly people in? Maybe that make more sense. That just but actually something that but I get the physical that you owning it. It's great. Right there. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Hai. And Jess, welcome to Pitch in the Zone here today. And please, what kind of feedback do you have for Dan?
I have a couple of things for you, Dan. The first thing, the slide behind you, I see a panda bear in a tree. And so when you started, I thought, oh, I'm going to like this guy. And sorry, not this guy. I'm going to like this business. And then you kept talking, and I thought, do you guys cut the trees down? Like, is that the process?
After 7 years, just so you know how this works, after 7 years, you can harvest your trees, and then they extract the oil and they sell it off to the perfume houses and chop up the trees and send them to the Middle East, typically, where they use it like in those chips. So that's what happens at the end of 7 years, or you can keep it going until 15 years. And then the yields increase in terms of oil, so you make more money if you can afford to wait.
Okay.
Just so you understand.
I understand perfectly. So then there shouldn't be a panda in a tree that you're going to cut down. That's just me, like, visually.
That's a great point. That is a great point, Jess.
Thank you. My other point is that, and my company's whole thing is sustainability. So, like, let's just leave that there. I hate the tagline. I hate it. And every other person has said that they love it. I hate it. It's like my affluent parents taught me when I was growing up that money does not grow on trees. You need to go get a job if you want to spend money. Okay. And that's a very important thing to teach your children. And so, sorry, I'm like on such a soapbox. Not, in fact, grow on trees. End of story. That's how I heard it, and it made me mad.
All right.
I'll get off. Sorry.
No, that's a good feedback. Every kind of feedback. This is so important because we are here now. What are we? 12 people, and everybody responds differently to every single word that comes out of a presenter's mouth. And all kinds of feedback is very important. And I think, the way that we feel when we listen to somebody is as important. It's more important to me than how we logically process the information. So thank you for that, Jess. Great feedback. Let me move on. Rita, you have been in Dan's spot a couple of weeks ago. What kind of feedback do you have for Dan?
Oh, thank you, Claudio. Most of the things I felt that have been referenced before. Since I also have the problem with time, I think, as Nathan said, it took too long to say the first informations. Then I felt the same as Scotty, so the voice tone was too intensive. So maybe try to explain a little bit more about the objective of the product, because I'm from agriculture production and I also never heard about the product. And I got stuck in the voice tone, and I really couldn't understand how was the process and so on. And when we reached the point that is more expensive than gold, then I just thought, but why and how this is used for? And since I'm in agriculture, usually anything it's more expensive than gold. So maybe only the special mushrooms. But anyway, just to have an idea. What are the objectives of the product, I think would be very important. Just a quick note. And in general, I also felt a little bit the same about the panda. It's like it seems we have an image, but then in the practice, it's not being together the reality with the image. And I think all the rest have referred everything. And congrats and good luck. Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome feedback, Rita. Thank you very, very much. And let me move on. We only have a few more minutes left. Dave, you've been listening in very, very intensively. What kind of feedback do you have for Dan?
Sure. Just from the pitch itself, initially, I wondered why are you asking me to invest as an individual? You know, and especially with a low bar to entry. And I kind of came to the conclusion you compared it to the timber industry, in which you can buy futures on the market. But I couldn't square those two things. I just thought maybe a little explanation, even though you do say, look at the prospectus, gain more understanding. I just kind of thought, I didn't get it right away why you would be asking me to invest in this, when I would think, if this is so lucrative and such a big deal, and it's a big expensive undertaking to start these plantations, that this isn't being done by the fragrance companies or sovereign wealth funds or something like that. Why are you coming to me?
All right. All right. Again, great feedback. Everything and how we perceive this helps. And let me move on to Debbie very briefly. Debbie, in a minute or so, what have you noticed that can help Dan improve his pitch?
I really, the colors and the slides and everything, the green were really spectacular, but I have to agree with Jess and Scotty, because I'm an environmentalist. And so, right away at first I'm going, this sounds interesting, and seeing the panda, but then immediately I saw it for something that, wouldn't be something I would invest in, because it just didn't feel right for what I am. So, but other than that, I thought your, presentation was, very good slides and all, but once it came out to what I felt was the truth about it, it would not be something I would invest in. And so you need to go after the people that would invest and are not environmentalists or into that. I mean, that's my opinion. So thank you.
Excellent feedback. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Debbie. And I noticed one thing in your delivery, Dan. And this is now because you've been hammered now about the concept and so many things. Let me quickly move it back to the delivery. There is one thing that started to become fairly repetitive, and that's a sentence you use very often at the beginning of a slide. You say, let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk a little bit about that. And to me, there is no need to advertise what you're gonna say. Just say it, flip the slide and move on. And I wanna give Marco also very briefly, 30 seconds. Both of us, we have seen this before. There are definitely improvements in this pitch, but of course, you can always improve further.
Yes.
Marco, what have you noticed?
Of course, I just give you one very small detail just to connect with Nathan said. One detail you said, we also have a business lounge like the one. That one to me, you let it out because it sounds like a scam to me. If you promote the business lounge, I mean, come on, to me it's bad. To me that's bad. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Okay.
It sounds bad. It sounds bad.
Okay.
That's
great. Thank you very much. And I do hope, Dan, the feedback that you have received here today was valuable to you. And please share any feedback that you have about the session today. How was it helpful? And will you perhaps want to come back at one point in the future and show us how you have incorporated this feedback?
Yeah, sure. Okay, just a couple comments. One, I don't control all the slide content because they do. So some of it, some like the panda in the tree is in the company stuff. So some of this was pulled from company things. So for the environmentalists that don't like the idea, and eventually you got to harvest the trees. Well, you're not going to make any money if you don't actually harvest the tree. But the point, those are good points. It could be cleaned up. Cut a few slides out, move something forward so it answers some of the questions earlier, and then I can get it up. I can get it down to 3 minutes. I expect.
Okay.
All
Great.
good. All helpful.
Because quite frankly, if you cannot convince me to go and watch that video in less than 3 minutes, you will not convince me in 5 or 6 minutes either. So, just drill it down to really, really the essence. And you have received a lot of feedback all the way. And of course, this session has been recorded as every week. So I will post it within the next few hours. Go back again, listen to yourself as well. And I think you will find a few areas that you can fine tune this page to make it really, really smashingly successful. And with that, I want to thank everybody that has attended today, provided valuable feedback to Dan, and I look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, same place. See you. Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.
Bye now.